Hi, I'm Stefan from Volkswagen Financial Services, and that is Nassim from Cloudreach. I'm trying to translate because I think his microphone is muted. Sorry, no worries. And we want to talk about going cloud native in an enterprise environment in the next 30 minutes. So I'll kick it off by introducing you with a company that most of you probably don't know. And Nassim will hand over and take more of the technical aspects of it and how we really, benefited from working together with Cloudreach. And got the presenter here. Okay, so who of you knows that company? Come on, I know you guys, I'm working with you and also with you, so I think the rest of the room stops reading after Volkswagen, but actually Volkswagen Financial Services is the company that you wouldn't expect to be that big. We are indeed the largest provider of automobile financial services in Europe. We've got more than 17 million contracts worldwide, and which results in an operating result of 2.1 billion euros in the last year. We've got more than 15,000 employees worldwide in 51 countries, and we are headquartered in the nice, beautiful city of Braunschweig. And I think the people here can tell you that it really is a nice city. What we see is, as we are a financial institution, that security and trust are extremely important to us. And that may sound weird because you may connect the brand Volkswagen with not security and trust in the last years. And we are very open about that, and we say, okay, we partly forgot about who really is our customer, and we really want to put the customer in the center of our attention for the future. And that is why, especially we as Volkswagen Financial Services, who are in between the brands, the dealers, the customers, and our market subsidiaries, we want to re-enable that trust. We want to build a trustful relationship, and this is why we put security first. Our main principle will be that. And also, we are a financial institution, we are working with regulators, so they and the customers expect that from us. Just to give you a quick journey about an overview about our journey to the clouds. We have very traditional financial products, which are banking products, financing, leasing of vehicles, and that is all based on a dealer network. So we've got the Volkswagen dealer here in Berlin, multiple of them, and all of them are selling our products. And if you go to a dealer, then in the end, if you want to apply for a financing product, you usually have to sign a huge amount of paper-based work. And we often say one contract equals a tree. And you have to sign it multiple times, and what we saw is this is not a journey for the future. We see that customers are buying our products more and more online, also with competitors. So we had to find a way to change our customer journey drastically. What we did is, we tried that out first with mobile apps. So it was almost 5 or 6 years ago when we built our first native mobile applications for Volkswagen Financial Services. There was a informational app about the insurance provider that we have. And then we slowly rolled that out, having, about 40 or 50 apps in the end. And we saw that if we build applications only for the front end, for the apps, we also need to have an integration into our backend systems. And then we found that with the speed that we build mobile applications, we couldn't really keep up with in the backend systems. And what we then saw is we have to behave differently. We have to connect to our backend systems, but we also have to make them available in a faster environment. We have lots of processes in the house that keep you from releasing every day. We just heard it in the keynote that Twilio is releasing 30 features a day, and we have like a release every 3 months. And this is not speed, this is not close to the customer. So we wanted to take a new approach, and we saw that cloud and Amazon Web Services is part of that. It's crucial technology, and it was like 2 years ago when Sergey and Sebastian and I sat together and thought about how can we approach that and what would be our best way to go into the cloud. And I think it was a summit 2 years ago where we got connected to Cloudreach, which is why we are now standing here, obviously, and they helped us on that journey. So what we were facing now is the question, being cloud native is a no-brainer, or for us it was. we always thought, yeah, that is clear to us, we need to go there. But then we faced reality. The reality check was in the company. We saw we needed to set up a new environment with new technologies. We needed to build up new skills within the organization and also a new understanding, which naturally leads to a new culture somehow. So if you want to implement DevOps, for example, then you need to overcome the silo of structure that we currently have in the company. That was the initial thing that we heard. No way. You're not going to do that. No Amazon Web Services. We are not going to the cloud. You're not putting any data in there unless, and that was the good thing, you prove us that it's possible. And we did a lot of things in the past with the help of Cloudreach, which will Nassim also cover a little in his talk, that helped us going towards a company that now embraces the cloud and loves it more than ever. And we see that this wouldn't have been possible without the help of a provider like Cloudreach. And yeah, so we had to overcome a lot of anxiety in the company, a lot of fear. Do we really want to put that data there? For example, 2 months ago, it was the S3 outage on the East Coast of the US, and people were asking us, so what happened there? Can you please tell me what that was? And they felt like we were personally responsible for that. And we said, hey, come on, that's a huge enterprise, 1 million customers. That can happen. But the customers that were building on top of that infrastructure in a good way were able to not be affected by that outage. And that is how we explained we just need to find a way how we build a secure environment on top of that. And yeah, I already said that 2 or 3 times, but Cloudreach helped us with that, and Nassim will be happy to talk about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Stefan. So I am with Nassim, so I'm cloud system developer at Cloudreach, and I recently joined Stefan teams. I think it was at the beginning of the year or something, and I will be speaking about what cloud native application means for us. Why is that a thing, and maybe what are like the takeaways that we can have from the experience that we have at a digital unit or in general. So just first, what do we really mean by cloud native? And I think like there is a different way of look at it. And one of them is if you look at your cloud platform as a platform to host your application, here just try to imagine 3 kinds of applications with different level of integration. So one which doesn't really use any native services from the cloud to the one who's fully integrated with the cloud environment, where the boundaries between the application and the platform at the end are almost, you can't really see them. So the main focus here is that we tend to try to take the maximum advantage of the services natively provided by the cloud. And the next slide actually, it's okay, like the why. And why is that a thing? I'm sure you already seen like all those points when we speak about the cloud. And the reality is that actually the more you take advantage of your platform and the more those things are true. If you build your application on services that are by design resilient themselves, you have a big chance to succeed in building a resilient application. And also, if you take a look at the different services that are provided with the cloud, also with any third-party provider, you can easily see that anything that is not business related, like anything which is really not specific to your business, you can probably find something that can fill this task for you. I mean, if it's not completely, at least in a big part. So, and I just would like to introduce here a quick example to see how is that, how does it relate in real. I'm not going to actually dive into the technical details. So here we have, let's say you are deploying a microservices application and you have different services, something that for the format images, a locator and stuff, and you would like your services to be able to find themselves. So you can find yourself looking for something as a service discovery. Now you have different way of implementing this. You have different tools that you can use, and here is one implementation. As I said, I'm not going to dive into the technical details, just to actually see that in this design, the part which is custom, which you have to deal with, is probably 30%. All the rest comes from your platform and come from the way you exploit actually your platform. So that's clearly show the intent, and it's clearly show how can you gain from this. You get quickly, you get less bothered with the common task, and you can just focus on your business. So if you, so if you are still with me now, I bet you would actually you would want to understand the how. And actually, it's a really, really big topic. Here, just lay down some key elements, and the one we actually try to emphasize with those guys. So the first, what we think it's really important is to integrate the cloud engineers within the dev teams and try to resist the temptation to create separate team. Like, we know that the way you structure the team in a company will define how your software is, and we really want something which is an integration which is seamless. So we really need to integrate cloud expert with the dev team. The same thing with the second point, except that we are saying we also need to integrate cloud expert at the beginning of the process, when we are designing the application itself. And you actually would be surprised to see how it can simplify the design to just know that this thing can be done with X, Y, and Z. And if we wait until we want to deploy, it's a little bit too late. And the last point, which is, I think Stefan would really agree just with me, which is really important, is that we really want to have developer manage their infra and be at least free to test and exploit the platform that at the end they will have to interact with. And the end.
Can you go back to that slide?
Sure.
I'd like to add a few words about how we tackled that and what went good and what didn't. This is how it should work. And actually, we did not do that in the first place. So we learned that on the way. We had like cloud engineers. Nassim joined the team 3 months ago, and we set up a digital unit here in Berlin. And first, we didn't have those engineers. We just had a few of them. And then we set up a team separately to teach the others how to work on a public cloud environment. And now we see, okay, this is not the ideal way. We need to integrate them into the team, so we will do that from now on. Also, the cloud native thinking from A to Z. This is something that we did in the beginning, actually. So when we moved to Amazon Web Services, we said, okay, go all in, do everything with Amazon Web Services. Don't think about a potential vendor lock-in now. Just do it with Amazon, and we'll be good. If we need to find out a way later, we can adjust our architectures. And the continuous effort to have people believe in that, and also teaching teaching somehow the rest of the organization, which is in Braunschweig and not here in Berlin, like 200 kilometers away from us, to help us on that way is really a huge thing. So we thought that in the beginning in Berlin we could start with just a small team and not communicate to Braunschweig. But then we saw this is not possible. We are integrated into the whole working system of the company. So we have like 4 or 5 people continuously on the A2, the Autobahn, traveling between Braunschweig and Berlin and talking about the different approaches that we have in headquarters and in our subsidiary in Berlin. And this is really what we see now as a huge success factor, talking about it openly within the group and by that opening it also to others who want to work with that in Braunschweig. And the last point, that is really something that I don't see currently. The developers are happy to show something over still, and I'll hopefully get them behind me and see that it's really a huge thing to own the infrastructure and to be enabled, to be empowered to work autonomously within the teams on their own infrastructure. For that, we are using platform as a service as much as we can. We are using serverless, for example, to use Lambdas and API gateways together in a good way. And yeah, something that we still need to, like you say, a continuous effort also within the teams and not just between subsidiaries. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and it's actually, it's always an ongoing work. And well, I didn't find the situation so bad.
Me neither. But I'm never satisfied. Yeah.
It's okay. So that's to just add to Stefan's points. So some takeaways here, and I'm not going to dive into all those points, and in particular because Stefan just shared some of them. I just would like to emphasize on the security aspect. I put just the security on the quotes here. So the fact that application is integrated or the architecture or the design is a little bit more complex than what we used to actually have. We used to have the application in one side, the data in the other side, and now we have just different part of the application which is provided with different services. So it can be a little bit scary sometimes, but I would actually use the term the anxiety over security, because I do think that anxiety express more the fact that it's fear that you don't really know where it come from, and it generally just lead you to some decision which can at the end be not just don't help with security, but even sometimes worse. And the idea here is the fact that you can deploy your application quickly, that you can focus on your business and deploy more, is by design help with the security aspect of it. So we generally see people focusing a lot on the security of the network and the storage, with like everything with the VPN, the ACL and stuff. And we forget that generally speaking, the application is the first to break or the first to fail if there is any trouble. So the fact that we are able to deploy quickly, to let the developer test and try and really get in touch with the platform will help you build more safe application. And I think it's really important to remind that.
Yeah, that's really like it. I mean, we came out of a world where we had only on-premise systems, where we had a 3-tier infrastructure from the front-end tier, the parameter, the back-end layer, and then the database layer, all the other back-end systems that were in place. Everything really isolated through DMZs, and what we tried to build in the first place was copying that security concept to the cloud, and which we saw it's not really necessary. We can do that differently. We can have a better application security policy, and thus having not anyone breaking through to the backend systems. Yeah.
Yep. I think I am done. So if there is anything you would like to add?
You see that the points that adapting mindsets and processes can take time. It really is something that takes a lot of time. And what we saw is, we've been working, or I've been working with mobile applications for 6 years now, and with the cloud infrastructure for 2 years, and I'm not getting tired of it, even though we have to fight a lot of fights, not just within the company, but also within the whole Volkswagen group, which have 500,000 employees worldwide, so you have to get all of them behind that vision somehow. And adapting mindsets and way of working and processes, this is not something that you just establish. It takes time. It is proving that it's right is also a big part of it. So we really have to work out, is that DevOps principle in the way that we do it here really working? And to prove that it is customer-centric with the business side to side. So we are now tearing apart all the silos that we have in the company and trying to establish a small functional, cross-functional teams that help developing and delivering what the customers actually want and need by listening to them actively. And for that, we need to have a secure or safe foundation beneath that. And we need to have patterns. We will develop them along the path. So it's something that I can only recommend. Don't just set up your idea of how a cloud environment could be. Explore it along the way. If you want to build a great cloud infrastructure in the future, you just need to find it out. Build MVPs, minimum viable products. See that you release a software very early so that the teams can take responsibility about the software at an early stage. And do everything automatically. Don't do anything manually. And in any case, it's not helping you, it's not going to lead you anywhere, just for the sake of, for example, releasing something. If you have that anxiety over being not fast, then invest into the things that you might think make you slow. You have to emphasize that. Good. Yeah, so I think we've learned quite a lot working together with you guys. And there are a lot of people helping from Amazon, from TechRacer, from Cloudreach. So if you really want to get into that enterprise environment and you aren't already, then I can only recommend get yourself some helping hands, and I think you'll be pretty keen on helping others out as well. So,
I hope so. Okay. I think that's pretty much it.
So I can now do the promotion for Cloudreach. I think they are ready when you are.
Yeah, we are always ready. That's the thing.
You're always ready, yeah, I know.
So if there is any question or would like to, I don't know, to tackle any of the topic here or just others, you can, I guess you can find us at the booths.
Yeah, it's 810 for you.
Cloudreach, yes,
yeah.
or Volkswagen, financial services.
And we also have a booth, but mainly for recruiting. So if you want to go to our company, so you can come by. No, it's C10 also on the right side here if you go out. So thank you very much for your attention, and have a great day.